ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਰੇ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਰੇ। ਬਸ ਰਹੇ ਹਿਰਦੈ ਗੁਰ ਚਰਨ ਪਿਆਰੇ। ਬਸ ਰਹੇ ਹਿਰਦੈ ਗੁਰ ਚਰਨ ਪਿਆਰੇ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਰੇ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਰੇ। ਬਸ ਰਹੇ ਹਿਰਦੈ ਗੁਰ ਚਰਨ ਪਿਆਰੇ। ਬਸ ਰਹੇ ਹਿਰਦੈ ਗੁਰ ਚਰਨ ਪਿਆਰੇ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਰੇ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਭੂਲੇ ਮਾਰਗ ਜਿਨੇ ਬਤਾਇਆ। ਐਸਾ ਗੁਰ ਵਡ ਭਾਗੀ ਪਾਇਆ। ਭੂਲੇ ਮਾਰਗ ਜਿਨੇ ਬਤਾਇਆ। ਐਸਾ ਗੁਰ ਵਡ ਭਾਗੀ ਪਾਇਆ। ਐਸਾ ਗੁਰ ਵਡ ਭਾਗੀ ਪਾਇਆ। ਐਸਾ ਗੁਰ ਵਡ ਭਾਗੀ ਪਾਇਆ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਰੇ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਕਾਮ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਲੋਭ ਮੋਹ ਮਨ ਲੀਨਾ। ਬੰਧਨ ਕਾਟ ਮੁਕਤ ਗੁਰ ਕੀਨਾ। ਕਾਮ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਲੋਭ ਮੋਹ ਮਨ ਲੀਨਾ। ਬੰਧਨ ਕਾਟ ਮੁਕਤ ਗੁਰ ਕੀਨਾ। ਬੰਧਨ ਕਾਟ ਮੁਕਤ ਗੁਰ ਕੀਨਾ। ਬੰਧਨ ਕਾਟ ਮੁਕਤ ਗੁਰ ਕੀਨਾ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਰੇ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਦੁਖ ਸੁਖ ਕਰਤ ਜਨਮ ਪੁਨ ਮੂਆ। ਚਰਨ ਕਮਲ ਗੁਰ ਆਸ਼ਮ ਦੀਆ। ਦੁਖ ਸੁਖ ਕਰਤ ਜਨਮ ਪੁਨ ਮੂਆ। ਚਰਨ ਕਮਲ ਗੁਰ ਆਸ਼ਮ ਦੀਆ। ਚਰਨ ਕਮਲ ਗੁਰ ਆਸ਼ਰਮ ਦੀਆ। ਚਰਨ ਕਮਲ ਗੁਰ ਆਸ਼ਰਮ ਦੀਆ। ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਰੇ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਰੇ। ਬਸ ਰਹੇ ਹਿਰਦੈ ਗੁਰ ਚਰਨ ਪਿਆਰੇ। ਬਸ ਰਹੇ ਹਿਰਦੈ ਗੁਰ ਚਰਨ ਪਿਆਰੇ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਰੇ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਅਗਨ ਸਾਗਰ ਬੂਡਤ ਸੰਸਾਰ। ਨਾਨਕ ਬਾਹ ਪਕੜ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਿਸਤਾਰਾ। ਅਗਨ ਸਾਗਰ ਬੂਡਤ ਸੰਸਾਰ। ਨਾਨਕ ਬਾਹ ਪਕੜ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਿਸਤਾਰਾ। ਨਾਨਕ ਬਾਹ ਪਕੜ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਿਸਤਾਰਾ। ਨਾਨਕ ਬਾਹ ਪਕੜ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਿਸਤਾਰਾ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਰੇ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਰੇ। ਬਸ ਰਹੇ ਹਿਰਦੈ ਗੁਰ ਚਰਨ ਪਿਆਰੇ। ਬਸ ਰਹੇ ਹਿਰਦੈ ਗੁਰ ਚਰਨ ਪਿਆਰੇ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਰੇ। ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਸਿਮਰ ਮਨਾ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਰੇ। ਭੂਲੇ ਮਾਰਗ ਜਿਨੇ ਬਤਾਇਆ। ਐਸਾ ਗੁਰ ਵਡ ਭਾਗੀ ਪਾਇਆ। ਭੂਲੇ ਮਾਰਗ ਜਿਨੇ ਬਤਾਇਆ। ਐਸਾ ਗੁਰ ਵਡ ਭਾਗੀ ਪਾਇਆ।
Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Friday today. I wish you all a lovely weekend. Today, we will start with a song by Jasprit, You've Got a Friend in Me. And then we have a talk by Michael and a talk by Dr. Chant. Topic is Gurmukh and Manmukh. After that, we will meditate for 5 minutes and we will watch Master's YouTube talk. And then we will meditate all together with love and devotion. Thank you so much. We can start.
Hi everyone, my name is Jaspreet. Today it is my birthday and I would like to sing a song called You've Got a Friend in Me. I would like to dedicate this song to my best friend Ishwar Puriji, who is always there for me no matter what. Here it goes. You've got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. And when the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, just remember what your old pal said. For you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got your troubles, I would them too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. We stick together and see it through. 'Cause you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. Some other folks may be a little smaller than I am, bigger and stronger too, maybe. But none of them will ever love you the way I do. Me and you, as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. 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 And when the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, just remember what your old pal said. For you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me.
Do you sometimes find
Wow, Jaspreet, this is a hit song. It's really a hit song in the Divine Stars. You're our divine star, and you're gonna be a teenager now, 13. Lucky you. Wow, and you're gonna face your teenage years with your best friend Ishwar Ji, and he's gonna make everything beautiful for you. All what you have to do is think of Ishwarji, and he is there. And you will carry him with you wherever you go. And whenever you think of him, he's there. And then people will feel him in you, and all your friends will just love you and love you and love you. You're our divine star. They're gonna love you because of Ishwarji inside of you. But the only thing you have to do is keep thinking of your friend. Keep thinking of your friend all the time, your best pal, your best friend. And I tell you, I swear to God, I'm not kidding. but I loved the song. I loved your voice. And it's just, you're gonna see, everybody is gonna like go crazy for it. It's a hit. It's a divine hit. Thank you so much. Thank you for your seva. My dear holy family, welcome to our holy dance. Welcome to the circle of love. Another day in God, another beautiful day in God, another beautiful Friday where we all sit together at the feet of our Holy Father, Ishwar Puri Ji, and at the feet of all our saints and masters that touched us with their love. They touched us with their love, and that touch will stay with us for eternity. That the effect that they did on our soul, that effect will stay with us for eternity. That if one perfect living master just smiles at you just once, your whole eternity will be full of smiles. Your whole eternity will be full of the light and the sparkle and the fizz of love. The fizz of love. The fizz of love will bubble in you. You will be bubbling with love, bubbling and bubbling and bubbling with love and love and love. And just breathe. You will be bubbling with love every time you think of our Holy Father, Ishwar Puri Ji. Bubbling with love, we live in this world as 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 we grow in God, as we grow in God, love takes all the barriers and all the separations and knocks all the walls, all the thick walls of the mind that bring suffering, worries, diseases, and suffering to us. Those thick walls of the mind will be just knocked over, and there will be no more. And I see our future. I see our future. I look at us, this group of divine lovers, this advanced group of divine lovers. I look at us in few years from now, in few years, after maybe 1,000 satsangs or so, that we gather together at the feet of our Holy Father. And I see all of us growing as this, the seed of God. Nothing can stop it from growing. Nothing. Once the Master sows the seed of love, that seed for sure 100% is going to grow and become a tree of love and divine tree of love, and it's going to start to give fruit. And now we are growing and growing, all of us together, growing in God. And at some point, we're going to give fruit. And that fruit that we're going to give is going to be delicious. It's going to be pearls, pearls of divine wisdom, divine godly diamonds, and golden words. We will be living in the golden state, in the golden age that we will bring our group here with all its lovers, the divine lovers here. We will bring God. We will bring the kingdom of God. We will bring the fruits of love. The fruits of love. The fruits of love are bliss, joy, intoxication, wisdom. Those fruits of joy we will spread on this whole world. It is 100%. I see it. I see it and I see it. I see all of us sitting together, maybe in a holy place, in an ashram, where God will provide this land for us. And we will be all sitting there together, not one God man, not one God woman, but many. Many will sprout. Many will become trees that give fruit. It won't be just one tree that is giving fruit, but many trees that will give fruit. We will be sitting together. We will be sitting together, and we will be all serving each other. And the more developed we become, we want to serve more and more and more. And the highest developed will serve 24/7. They will serve their holy family 24/7. And we'll be all sitting in love. That we will be all sitting in love, and the mind will be stepped on by the foot of Baba Sawan Singh, by the foot of God, by the foot of Ishwar Puri Ji. And when the mind When the mind has the foot of God on it, then the soul rises, and the soul is always bliss, ecstasy, intoxication. And from the house of bliss, we will be talking. From the house of joy, we will be talking and sharing our love. And from the house of grace, from the house of grace, from the house of the grace of the Lord, we will be living together, sharing. And people, I see people in that time, I see people running towards us just like bumblebees run towards the honey and the flowers. People will be running towards us because they will feel divinity, they will see divinity, and they will experience divinity amongst us. Where when they come among us, and there won't be just one God man or one God woman, but there will be many realized people around us. That will be a time like never before. Before it was only one master and so many disciples that are all minds. But now it's going to be different. It's going to be different in the future. It's going to be many God men, many God women sitting together. That is gonna be the powerhouse of God, the powerhouse of love in this world. We will all sit together. We will all love each other and serve each other. We will not need things from the negative world. We will not need things from the negative world. Even our food will be less because we will be tasting the taste of joy, the taste of bliss, the taste of love. The taste of grace will be in our mouth, that we don't need much food from this world. We will live on Shabd mostly. Mostly we will live on Shabd. Our life will be inward. We will be sitting in meditation most of the day. Maybe 12, 15 hours we will be inside, enjoying each other also inside. And then when we open our eyes and we come out, we come out of our blissful meditation, we will bring that blissful meditation outside, and Shabd and the Lord, the holy melody of God will be doing everything for us. We will just be relaxing in love and letting love do everything for us in the outside world. It will do everything for us, and we will say goodbye. Goodbye, my worried mind. Goodbye. Goodbye, my suffering mind. Goodbye, my mind that thinks of the past. Goodbye, my mind that thinks of the future. It will be only the present. Only the present. And what will be the present? The present will be the inner master. It will be God. It will be Anami, Alak, and Agam. It will be such Lok, such Kand, and that we will bring it to the outside world, and we will enjoy it inside. We will be all holy lovers, holy, divine lovers in God, enjoying and spreading that vibration, that subtle vibration of the heart, the subtle vibration of love. And from the heart of the hearts, we will be living. Our abode, our home will be the heart of the hearts. And our enjoyment will be only giving. We will not take as God men, God women. They don't enjoy taking from others, but they only enjoy giving. They only enjoy giving and giving and giving. And we will have the unlimited, bottomless treasure house of God inside of us. And from that treasure house of God, we will be giving divinity. We will be giving and giving and giving to our holy brothers and sisters and to this world. And as I said, people will flock towards us in multitudes. In multitudes, they will flock to the holy family of God. They will call us the holy family, the divine family of the saints. Our circle will become the circle of love, the circle of the saints. We will have so many saints among us, so many saints among us, and we will be no more Mamluks, but Gurumuks. We will be the mouthpiece of God. We will be the hand of God, the hands of God, and we will be the eyes of God. God will look at this world from our eyes. He will touch through our hands, and He will speak through our tongue. And that's what we will be. We will be me and my Father in the heavens are one. Be ye perfect as your Father who's in heavens is perfect. Is We are destined. It's our destiny. All what we have to do is just like Jaspreet's song. Keep our pal with us. Keep our pal with us. Keep our best friend with us 24/7. No matter what we do in this world, after satsang, satsang is vibrated by the energy of God, by the energy of the saints, Baba Sawan Singh, Ishwar Puri ji, Sant Thakar Singh, and not just those three saints, but Sant Kirpal and Ajaib and Darshan and Charan, all of the saints. That's why we are an international. We the love knows no division. Love knows no division, and love is only accepting and uniting. We will unite all our holy brothers and sisters from so many different saints, and we will be together. We will be together because love is a magnetic field. Love knows no separation. Mind separates. Mind is different, but love, the core of love is one. The core of love is the same, and the core of love is God, and God unites everyone because God is everyone. God is everyone, and He will unite us. He will unite all of our holy family, and everybody will be welcome. Everybody will be welcome in our holy circle of love, and everybody will come. People will be doing selfless service, planting the seeds and harvesting the seeds. They will be working in the gardens and in the orchard. And we will be always doing seva and thinking of the Lord. We will be doing seva and thinking of the Lord. And in our midst, I see it in the future, we don't need to speak. We don't need to speak, as we will be enjoying divinity within us. We will be enjoying divinity within us, and we will communicate with each other with the language of love. We will be communicating with the language of love. The language of love does not even need the tongue, does not even need the tongue. Just by a look, have all the information, all the questions and the answers and the needs will be satisfied from one look. And whatever we think of will manifest itself. This is how life will become in the future when we keep growing our roots, our divine roots in God and the kingdom of God, that whatever we think will manifest, whatever we say will happen, and everything, God will be just serving us, and serving us. As we grow in God, our Simran becomes more powerful. Our divinity becomes encompassing. It becomes all over, and we will be using the power of God. We will be using the power of God, and God will be doing everything for us, and we don't have to do much. All what we have to do is just sit, relax in love, and let love do everything for us. This is how the future will be. We will be relaxing in love. We will be meditating many hours and working, doing seva just a little, maybe 2, 3 hours, and the rest we are inside. And whatever, because we are inside, and inside comes to the outside, and we are relaxing in love, whatever we used to take us many hours in this world to do, with the hand of love helping us, that thing will become a piece of cake. It will become so easy. And 8 hours of seva that we used to do will be done by 1 hour or less. We will only be enjoying in God. We will be enjoying in God, and we will be depending on God 100%. God, Shabd, will be our doctor. Shabd will be everything for us. It will be everything for us. It will take care of us from A to Z. It will harmonize our system. And then where there is God, where there is love, then there is no suffering, no problems, and no diseases. We will be living a healthy lifestyle in healthy God. We will be living that lifestyle, and I could see it. I could see us all sitting together, and from the loom of the hair, of the beard of the master, all these words of pearl are going to come to us. They're going to come to us from the core of divinity. And that's going to be our satsang. Every moment of our life will be satsang. Every moment our life will be satsang. And when every moment of our life will be satsang, what's going to happen? Yesterday I was walking and I started talking to Master loud. Oh my God, Master, you are so gorgeous. Because I was seeing a beautiful tree that has like flowers on it. And I'm like, oh my God, people are going to think I'm losing my mind. Oh, and then a deep voice inside of me and said, oh yeah, it's good to lose the mind. Why not lose the mind and just become pure soul? That is our goal of goals. That's the aim of aims, is to lose the mind, and become pure soul, and let the soul do everything. Let God do everything for us. Just relax in love, relax in God, and enjoy. This is just what I wanted to say of the future life, where will all be Gurumukhs. We will all be, everybody who's staying in this boat of love, in this circle of love, will have to grow. It is destined. It is unstoppable. Unstoppable. All what we have to do is just stay in the boat of love and keep growing together. Keep growing together, burning. As we grow, we burn the ego. God burns the ego for us. God burns our anger. And how much life is gonna be so beautiful when there is zero anger in it. When there is zero anger and nothing gets you angry, how is life gonna be? Life is gonna, I already tasted. Life is just like so beautiful. When anybody who comes to even make you angry, you will just go, oh God, I see God in you. I see God in you. God, you cannot make me angry. That person cannot make me angry because I see you in there. I see it as a show. And we go like that, and we just enjoy the show. We just enjoy the show. There is a story my master Sant Thakar Singh used to say. There was a haunted well, a haunted well. There was a big devil living in that well, big ugly devil living in that well. And then there were people of the village. They were mischievous, and everybody they wanted to get rid of, they wanted to just like kill. They used to send him to the well and tell him, go fetch us some water. He will go, or she will go to fetch water, and the devil will come and they will just like kill them. And one saintly person came to that village, and the people were saying, oh, let's get rid of him. We don't want another extra person in our village. Let's send him to the well and get rid of him. And they sent him to the well and told him, the water is over there. You can get water from over there. Then he went over there, and then the big devil appeared to him. And he was bowing down, and he's like, oh my God, Father God, wow, I see you there. I see you there. I see you there. Please bless me with some water. And then the devil started, God inside the devil started talking. And then God inside the devil started talking. And he said, you also see me here in this most horrible place? You also see me here in this most horrible person, this most horrible devil. You also see me there. And the saint said, yes, I see you there. I see you there, and I see you everywhere. And God is everywhere. He's in the worst devils. He's in the worst devils of this world, because he created this whole show. And when we look at the devils with the eyes of love, not with the eyes of judgment, not with the eyes of criticism, but with the eyes of deep love, when we look at the devils with the eye of deep love and we bow down to God in them, then God in them will come up and will bless us. And that devil, God started talking to that devil, and he gave him the best water, and he drank, and people were perplexed. How come nothing happened to that person? How come nothing happened to that? And that devil changed. In the story that Sant Thakar Singh used to say, that devil, after meeting the saint, he changed, because the saint touched his core with love. Once that core is touched with love, that's it. Love starts to starts just like in fermentation. In fermentation, it's all these anti what are they? Biotic? Oh, I forgot. They start to proliferate very fast. And the same thing. Love, when it touches the heart, it starts to also increase. It starts to also brim and bubble. And then it will start to fizz. The fizz of love. The fizz of love will be bubbling. We will be bubbling with love and fizzing with love. Okay, this is my introduction. Thank you, Master, for the seva. And thank you for all my holy brothers and sisters that we all do the holy dance together every day. And I welcome Dr. Chand. How are you? Where are you?
I am here with you, my dear.
Hi.
Yes, you.
Where is Mohanji?
Mohanji, he's resting at the moment.
Give him our
So,
love and tell
yeah, I
him
will.
that we miss him. And
Right.
we can't wait to sit at his holy feet and
Yeah, we
enjoy
will do that.
God living in him.
Yeah, wonderful. We'll do that part. Now, today's talk is, is beautiful, which Michael has set the stage for a Gurmukh and a Manmukh. And he has explained beautifully well that all of us will be sitting together and the whole world will be there with us. You know, this kind of a motivation, as Michael always excited to explain to each one of us, you know, his feelings. And his feelings are so real that this is what is going to happen, because he is not talking. It is the master who's talking out of his body. It happens with everyone. All the Gurmukhs are like that. And I am very sure that all of you are like that, because you got to talk in the fashion Michael talks. Because to become a Gurumukh, you got to talk the language of the Guru. And that is what is a Gurumukh. Out of that face, the talk of the master, if it comes out, only then it is a Gurumukh. It is the face of the Gurumukh. And how to really understand this, as Michael was explaining, because he sets the stage for me, and it is so beautiful to explain, quoting him, that how he says those things, you know. As he says, the whole humanity is one, you know, because the whole cosmos is one. As my finger is part of my body, which has got 100 trillion cells here. So something like that, 7.6 billion people on this earth are again part of us. So how he really looks at the heaven, where everybody talks of love. Because the Gurmukh will always remember that uh, the, the Absolute was one and alone in the beginning. And that Dayal Purush. And he was one and alone, and he became from one to many for want of love. In this stride of bliss, he felt like loving. And to whom he will love? He became from one to many. So now we've been loving him, he been loving us, and we were in that bliss. But then how we really came here and became Manmukhs has to be understood. You know. Basically, I would like to still convey more on a Gurmukh than a Manmukh. So what I would like to say, that we are all conscious co-worker of the divine plan. That is what Michael was hinting at. So we got to do that and bring this divine plan on this earth by working on it. As he was saying, that all the satsangis, you know, all the lovers will be sitting at one place. All the saints will be there. Even the future saints will sit together, because that is what this group is. It is a foresight of this group, you know, and it's so lovely that let the whole world join, you know. And in this particular figure which appears here in the bottom is about 38 participants at the moment. Now we want 7 point odd billion people on it. How to do that? Now this is what we got to work on, all of us, because we want to bring that love and peace here with everyone, every life, including the work on environment. Each plant is a living fellow. Each bird and an animal is a living fellow. And since you have become the crown of creation, you are Gurumukh. And being a rise above.
Dr. Chand, we can't hear you. Can you guys hear him or just me?
No, I thought it
No.
was me, but even I can't hear him.
Yeah. Dr. Chand, your internet. Let's do Simran and ask
I'm
Father
back
God.
again. I'm
Oh,
back
here.
again.
Cool. Yes.
Yeah. So this is how we got to work on the whole concept, as Michael keeps on planning, Sarah keeps on thinking about it. All of us are working on it, all the Sevadars, like Barry Q and all others, we are all working together. And today's song by Jasprit is this essence, there is a friend there with you. And now this song, I would like to request Jasprit's parents to allow me to use this song for the school children in the curriculum. So I would like that they should give me permission to do this so that we can add up this song there for the children to sing. And then everybody to sing so that even when the child sings at home, the parents also listen. And they will also feel that there is a friend. So now this is how I would request Michael to talk to them and get this permission so that we can work on it. Now we
Okay.
got to work on, being Gurmukh is to live this life, this small little window with divine attributes. And these divine attributes are love, compassion, mercy, forgiveness, wisdom, humility, patience, state of art planning ability and its execution ability, let us face as it comes, and justice. These are some of the divine attributes. So all the Gurmukhs have to work here with these attributes. And how these attributes will flow from you as a Gurmukh? Because if you understand what mind is, how you have rather acquired the mind and created the body, and how you got involved in it. So now, just information that you are not this mind, you are not this body, you are here for a while. Now, this particular knowledge to the ignorant mind, because mind doesn't know this, it needs to be told time and again, because every morning the sun comes, there is an evening, again in the morning. So we do all those routines, every day we have our breakfast, we have our lunch, we get our dinner. So something similar with the mind. And mind and body, as I always say, they work in together in tandem. They create emotions, and emotions create terrorists out of you. Now you have to understand this. This mind fellow has to be used, properly. He been using us like a donkey. I always say this. Body and mind been using us. So if we can really reverse this process by making the mind friendly, how we can make the mind friendly? With the divine attributes. Now those divine attributes have got all the solutions. So this is how a Gurmukh has to live in this life, with those attributes. And then understanding this modem. Your internet also starts, it comes to you through a modem. So this mind is a modem. And if there is a virus in that, then you've got a problem in your life. So it is better to remove this virus from this modem just by informing the mind in a very systematic, scientific, logical manner. Because this fellow, as Ishwar Puri ji says, that it keeps on creating doubts. Now this is a fellow who's always doubting. Say, for example, if there is a couple and if they keep on doubting each other, what really happens? So this is what is happening here. He keeps on doubting us for nothing. Now, to clear his doubts, we got to, educate the ignorant mind. And this education needs to be given to the whole world, 7 point odd billion people on this earth. Who is going to do this, my dear? All of you sitting here. It is your responsibility, because all that work which all the saints have done till now, it comes on all of us who have understood this. If we would not have understood this, we would have been ignorant about this, and then it was not our responsibility. But now, as an enlightened person, all of you, this responsibility comes on you. And how it comes on you and how you got to understand. I repeated those attributes of the Guru Mukh. That whatever the Guru says, how to behave, how to talk, even talking, sweet language. We have discussed on this. I always explain that part, that the language comes from beyond. So I use that knowledge of a sage known as Panini. He explained from where the language comes. From para to pashanti to madhyama, and then vaikhari, it comes out of your mouth. So I have explained this, so I am not repeating that part. If somebody wants to know it, he can talk to me separately to know more, that from where the language comes. Because just now I said the Michael is not speaking. It is the masters together are using his mind and body to speak out, because the language is coming from there. Now, if we understand this part, if we make the mind understand this area, then the pollution will not be added by the mind. The virus can be removed. And this is how the flow of language, which comes straight away from there, passes through your mind with all that information which is accumulated there of many, many lives, all this karma theory and everything. And then if we can really ignore the mind, what really happens? The flow, the audible stream of life, the Shabad, which is passing through you and going to the mind, going through the brain, to the whole body as a body language, then it comes out of your mouth as a language which you are speaking. Now that Shabad flows from you. It starts percolating from your mind and body. It goes downwards and outwards into the world through the senses of your body. So this is what has to be achieved. Now, the next part is beautiful to know about the Manmukh. So this is what we have understood about the Gurumukh. So we must live the life of a Gurumukh, because the Gurus have initiated you, my dear. You have been initiated by a Guru. You are a Gurumukh. Who makes you forget this at times? It is your mind which makes you forget that you are this body, you are this mind. So what is really happening? These two fellows join hands together, as I always say this. So to understand the satsang is a beautiful area where I try my best to connect all those areas and explain you in your own language. Because what really happens, that if the saints are speaking, what we do, that whatever my mind has got, my baggage of information, I understand all that by mixing the words of the master with my baggage. And then I consume that as my food. Say, for example, if you've got a dish with you, and in this dish, you want to add your own baggage, means you want to add more spices to that, you want to add some lemon to that, or you want to add some chilies or green chilies or whatever you feel like. So this is how your mind is adding all that pollution to that. And this is what we got to understand. That now, understanding this information which mind is providing, we got to use it as a tool. Ishwarji been talking on this. That use your mind as a tool to go back. You don't use your mind to get trapped by it, because you are intelligent enough now. Because you are a creative intelligence. And this fellow has got only, we call it as information. Intellect is nothing but information, my dear. Intelligence is yours. Intellect is only information, knowledge which you gathered in your life, including the past lives also. So this is what is happening. So this information is going to bother us. So please understand this part and start developing, the content for the children. I am requesting all of you with my folded hands. Please, whatever you learn here in these talks, make a small content as a story for a child, whatever you have understood, so that the children can understand this particular phenomena. As I always hurriedly say, creation is an intelligent design. There got to be an intelligent being who's doing it all. So this small little clue to the children will start making them as gurmukhs, because they will start thinking on those terms, that the whole creation is one living entity. They are part of it. As my finger is part of my body, I am part of the whole. These small little points in a story form for the children will change this world. As Michael was saying, we got to do this. I am requesting all of you to do it. And then this is how we tell the children that, well, what works? You are a creative intelligence. And your attention, is like an omni scanner. It's a capable force. It is part of all knowing, all pervading. Now, how to use this potential of attention? This is what the mind needs to be told. And mind also wants some peace. Of course, the karma theory, it operates and makes you suffer. But the Guru has told us a beautiful method. Ignore the mind. And once you learn how to ignore the mind, you can achieve it. If you don't think about it, what the mind is trying to make you go into past and future and get sufferings, so you just ignore that. It's a simple trick by the masters. And then, going up, by doing that imagination tool, to imagination is also a tool. And thinking in that, sitting in the sixth floor, sitting there, and everything has been told to you. You are so perfect. You can add up in those stories, that where the attention operates from, behind the eyes, of course. A child will really understand and take a lot of interest if you tell him, well, you have got these two eyes. I have sent a picture also last time. So you can take up that picture, tell the child, look, left eye looks differently on an object, the right eye looks differently. Object is one, these two eyes look, then the information goes into the place where these two eyes, the optical nerves meet, and there the right picture is formed. And that picture is also formed at the back of the head. Now, these small informations will make him realize that how his body is functioning 24/7. Who's operating it? How the blood flow is going on, how the breathing is going on, the digestive system is on, and the food, whatever you eat is taken up from there, and the nourishing areas, it goes and gives all those nourishment to various organs of your body. Let the child think about it. Critical thinking you develop. And gradually, the program which Michael is saying the whole world should know will gradually come up. And I would like the stories to us. We are compiling so much. We have got more than 160 stories in Hindi, about 200 and odd in English. So we are all developing. So whichever is the best story, whomsoever writes, he writes his name under that. We will print it under his name, so that the whole world should know that we are a family and working on it. So this is how I will request all of you. Now I'm going back to the area of Manmukhs. So Manmukh, as I very rightly said, that body and mind work together. Now we are three here. Now I'll give a example of a democracy here. You know, in a democracy, the party which gets more number of votes wins and rules the country. So this is a country, you know, this body. It has got 3 voters in it, and all of them want to stand in the election. And now who's going to rule? The body is going to rule, the mind is going to rule. All you are allowing the attention, the soul to rule you. So what really happens? These two fellows, body and mind, vote together. And then they want to rule your soul. That creative intelligence which has got all the solutions. Whereas all the attributes of the mind are not sustainable, and body and mind are ruling you. Now, if the child starts knowing this democracy of the self, that how it can achieve that. Now we tell you a method. That body, you know, can be together with love and devotion with the soul. And this is how, if these two get together, the democracy is successful. These two fellows will rule. And love and devotion is the key. And it is the essence of the soul also, the love. And now, if that comes in, now both of them will help to organize the life in a beautiful manner. Now, this fellow mind is in opposition. And this opposition fellow is creating a lot of demonstrations, doubts. D for demonstrations and D for doubts. And it wants to convince the body to its points. And sometimes, you know, he's working like a terrorist, creating problems, you know, all the time agitating, because he has got wonderful tools to destroy you. What are those tools he has got? Lust, anger, ego, attachments, deceit, fears, and worries. This is what it has got. So it starts working with all those, starts using his tools and tries to bother you, because due to karma, the universal mind is operating your mind and you are going through that. And Master told us beautifully well that he told us to ignore the mind. And then if you withdraw your attention from the mind is dead, my dear. It is through the Shabad, it is dead. As you withdraw your attention from the body, you learn how to die before you die. So the body is dead. Something similar happens here, my dear. If you withdraw your attention from the mind and ignore it, it is dead. It won't pull you into that karma theory. Now look how the master has taken all your past karmas. It is only this life which we are managing here. And with the master's instruction, we are completely clear of our karmas by not giving attention to the mind. Once we give attention to the mind, it sucks you in. It's like a tornado. All those tools it is using, my dear. So these kind of stories to children will do something wonderful. That once, because they know in the newspapers or in the television how the tornado operates. Now you can give an example of the mind as a tornado. It has got all those furry, you know, it has got all that strength to destroy you. And how nicely you can bypass this by not giving your attention. The tornado cannot do anything because it is not affecting you at all. So you are safe. Your house is safe. So that's how small little examples and this development of this these stories will do a lot, and this is how the mind is operating. Because I explained those, these attributes of the mind are not sustainable. They'll create a very weak house for you, whereas the divine attributes are sustainable. So these sustainable things will make a good house for you, and this living will be fine. And we are here for a short while, my dear. Here's what you have already known, hardly 100 years. So, and whereas the life started certain millions of years, the creation started certain billions of years, it will continue for another billions of years. So the astral mind has got an information from certain millions of years, and the human body, as Ishwar Puri ji also explains, about 3 to 5,000 years of past lives and all. So this is how it is. And there are other species, and how we've been shuttling around, my dear. I explained in my previous talk that how from the astral mind and astral body we come down to create a specific body and live here in those worst conditions, and then we go back again to the astral mind and astral body. We leave the physical body here. The mind goes on. The mind goes on into the other region. It takes you there, because you are here. And then what really happens, that after suffering here in this physical body and physical mind, you transmigrate yourself into the astral mind and astral body, and then you come back again with more intuitions, because you had a huge big plan there. The blueprint was there to make this body first, the single cell, then the double cell, then multi-cell organism, then all those 8.4 million species. So what's been happening? Time and again, you've been going back and forth from astral to physical, again from physical to astral, because every time you make a physical body, it's time bound, it lives here, it remains here, it gets mixed up with the elements, and you go back with the mind, and mind is carrying all that information, which is making you suffer here. And the master body. And if you are having a critical thinking, you will know how much time you've gone there, and you've got a beautiful window of 100 years to go back and have your control and come nicely there, live in your own home. And that is, whatever you want there happens the next moment. I say it happens the next moment in a huff, because you are a capable force. You can create things there. You can create your dreams. So you create your dreams there, and dreams they just happen there. And every time, if you know this, from the core area of Alak Agam Anam, you can come to the Sachkhand area, enjoy your life, go back to Alak Agam Anam again. Or if you want to come up little up, you can look at the universal mind and universal body. You can look at the causal mind and the causal body, but then don't come forward, into the astral and physical. Keep on visiting anything, because you are a capable force. And you are that sea in the drop. This is what has to be understood. But this mind which makes you manmukh is an area, please. This is what has to be understood. And the body, you know what it is with hunger, clothes, housing, vanities of the world. You keep on feeding this body every day. You can't fill this this particular, well. You keep on putting your food all your life. This body will never get satisfied with it. Next morning it will need again. But there, whatever you need is available and you can eat anything and you can enjoy all those fruits because you have developed your sense perceptions. So it is your method that how you are dealing this time bound material creation. You can look into all that. So people who are manmukhs, they get involved and trapped into it. So my dear, if you can tell your children about the third law of Newton, that every action has got an equal and opposite reaction. So whatever children will do, they will have to suffer for that. They will have to go through, because you can give them an example, if you throw that ball on the ground, it comes up again. So every action has got an equal and opposite reaction. So the small children can understand so nicely. And what you are doing, I've got a wonderful movie on that from Harvard University, how to really develop the circuits in the brain by telling a child. And those initial 7 years are most important time for the child to learn, because he learns 80% of his life. So there we got to sow the seeds of these circuits we are developing in his brain to keep on thinking, and these seeds will grow into big trees of peace and love. But it has to be sown in that, the mind, the brain has to be developed. And it is only possible if we can educate this ignorant mind, my dear. We got to make him a friend. My mother always told me, make your mind as your friend. Allow him to do few things gradually, because you've got a habit of habit forming. I did talk about this in some of my earlier satsangs, that if you know, even if the child knows that he has got a habit of habit forming, it starts from the nappies, what time you change the nappies, and he will wet the nappies only at that time when it is near that time when you are changing the nappies. Is that intelligent? That small little baby of few days knows all this. Imagine the kind of intelligence is there, because the God Almighty is sitting there. And that God Almighty is there in the zygote cell. I told you earlier also that how is operating there, how it is forming your whole body. It's a wonderful area. This knowledge here in this group is so fathom, I tell you. You are all lucky to have all the nice speakers here now. All the masters been telling you the nitty-gritties of the whole thing and then proving it so nicely. So please, it is your duty not to become manmukhs. So please become gurmukhs. Because we haven't have any other planet nearby where we can shift. We don't have that. So let us save this planet, its environment, its people, and how these religious fellows, different religions are fighting with each other. How we can tell a child that spirituality is the essence of all the religions. And spirituality is not a religion in itself. It's a unifying factor for the mankind. Because the whole cosmos has got a spirit. And that spirit is understood to be spirituality of the whole cosmos, the visible universe, having three.
Dr. Chand, we don't hear you anymore. Dr. Chand, we can't hear you. So I guess we can meditate for 5 minutes, and then I'll play master.
This happens, I
Oh,
don't know.
here you go. Here you go. Okay.
Internet, Anyhow, now I have almost said my points, that how we can really become a gurumukh and how we can become a manmukh. So let us not become a manmukh, because manmukh is dealing with body and mind together and they work in tandem. So let us not work as a manmukh. We should always work because the soul has got all the solutions. Beautiful solutions, my dear. All those attributes give you those solutions, And now, how to make your mind friendly with you is the key, Sometimes you give him something, as I was talking about habit forming. So now let us form habits. Gradually, the habits will become stronger because we have got those habits of, nappy changing times, then we feeding time, then it is lunch time, dinner time, breakfast time, office time. The whole life is through these habits which we form. Somebody has got a night duty, so he forms his habits as per that. If somebody has to take a bus, he has to do it in that fashion. He forms his habits to go a little earlier for the office, takes a bus, then he takes a train, and then he reaches the office. He forms habits. So this is what we got to train this mind by forming habits and make him a friend, Sometimes you agree with him, otherwise he's going to do a lot of revolt. This fellow, you know, he can become a terrorist. This anger is there with him. Attachments are there. Egos are there. So now see all his tools. He has got big nuclear bombs with it. The mind has got all those nuclear bombs with it. So please understand this. And thank you very much for listening this talk. And I hope you are all motivated as Michael motivated all of us to be together where all the saints are there and the future saints will be sitting there, my dear. All your children will really look for that stage where all good scholars understanding the basic concept and start explaining nitty-gritties to all of us and to develop those circuits in the brain, because we will be going to the schools. 195 countries have to have this curriculum where you will be writing these stories and all. Thank you very much. Michael, please take
Thank
over.
you. Thank you so much, Dr. Chand, for the precious jewels, divine jewels that you give us. Thank you. Wow, Dr. Chand, you are just a gift for us from Father God and Master. Thank you, God. Thank you, Master, for Dr. Chand. So now we can meditate for a few minutes, and I'll play a video of our Holy Father Ishwar Puriji.
So please look after that permission from the.
I sent it to you. I sent you. I'm sure she's gonna say yes, but I'll tell her, and I sent it to you already.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
So he said, I'll go and check. Particular page, whether the mistake has been made or not. So he went to the basement. He began to shout something. in Tibetan language or something, Bodhi language. And everybody was surprised. So the head monk followed. He also began to shout. American tourists couldn't understand why are they shouting. So he also went down the steps into the basement. And there the abbot was screaming, "We made a mistake. We made a big mistake. The word was celebrate, and we cut out the R, it's become celebrate." It's just a joke, it's not true. A true story. That celebration made it to celibacy. Lust after lust, very close to lust, is a second distraction. And that distraction really disturbs our meditation. And that is anger. We get angry so soon. Little things provoke us. I don't know. Have you ever made a decision? I will never do this again. How many of you ever had decided, I will never do this again, and still did it? It's very common. It's amazing. Okay, I'll tell you another story. Once upon a time, okay, that's how the story begins. Once upon a time, there were two elk hunters. They would go to the mountains to hunt for elks. And they hired a small plane. And they flew on a little patch that they had at the top of the mountain where the elks lived. And they would land on that little landing space. And then they went and hunted and killed 4 elks and dragged them to the plane. The pilot said, "You know, this plane is too small. These elks are heavy. If you load all 4, the plane will crash. I can take 2 at a time, make 2 flights." They said, "No, last year we had 4. We took in the plane all 4. How can you say that?" So forcibly, they loaded all the 4 elks into the plane. It took off, the plane crashed. And pilot died, plane was in debris. Somehow, these 2 hunters survived. And out of debris they come out, and one asked the other, "Where are we?" He says, "Same place we were in last year." So you can imagine how we learn our lessons. Anger is the second most problematic thing. It takes even longer to get over anger than lust. Lust can be taken care of if there are sufficiently attractive experiences inside within our meditation. That helps a lot. Because merely a attachment to something new from detachment. So when we find similar or greater pleasures inside, lust gets controlled. It does not get controlled without that experience. Anger is more difficult, but in a way, it's something that comes natural to you when you begin to see the reality of people, that they are part of you. It's very difficult to become angry at anybody if you know you're getting angry at yourself by getting angry at somebody else. These awarenesses, they can reduce anger, but anger scatters our attention. Lust draws our attention down, anger scatters it. Therefore, it becomes more difficult to gather the attention back to the third eye center. The next after anger is attachments. Attachment to family, attachment to children, attachment to parents, attachment to friends, attachment to cars, houses, refrigerators, attachment to objects. These attachments, and especially attachments to people who we think are close, big distraction. We are worried, child is not well. Meditating, child is not well. How can you think of meditation if the child is not well? You are so attached. So these attachments that we have are also a big distraction, and sometimes they go later than even lust and anger. And that is why a big distraction that don't allow us to go within, don't allow us even to experience the true love that flows from a perfect living master. Next is greed. We are all greedy. Greed comes so natural that we say we are not greedy, but if something is given to us, offered to us, very hard, that it's a temptation that we yield to depending upon the price. Somebody wants to offer you more, you take it. Less, no. There was a young boy in the United States who was born out of one of the slaves. His ancestry showed that his grandfather, great-grandfather, was given a huge bit of land in a treaty done by the settlers in the United States. Little boy did not know his heritage, but people were trying to establish whose land it is. It did not belong to government, it had been given away in the treaty. And it did not belong to anybody, but because there was nobody claiming, number of people had built their houses upon it and became a good rich colony. One man found out that this is something that belongs to whoever is the correct successor of that line. So they found him, poor fellow, was doing distribution of newspapers for pennies. He was actually the owner of several $1 billion worth of estate. So these clever people went to him and they said, we'll give you a few $100 if you sign certain documents and transfer these to me. He said, no, but he thought it's a big thing. Make it a little more. When they tried to give offer, one of the residents there came to the boy and said, this is worth so much. The boy raised his price. He said, no, I will not give you. Kept on raising his price. Eventually, he became one of the richest guys there. But the price was what affected him. In India, somebody found that the real successor has been lost of an estate like that. And they tried to find a man, a little boy, whose surname was the same. They tried to make him appear in court and say, I am the successor. So they offered him a few pennies to just appear in court. He says, what, I'll tell lies? For your little money, I will tell lies? At least double it. That's the kind of greed. It's inbuilt into us. That the price is sufficient, we yield to greed. So greed also is a distraction and does not allow us to go. But biggest obstruction, much bigger and last to go, is ego, I-ness. I know that. I can do it. I know better than you. This I. It is the face of the mind. The mind thinks, but when it wants to express itself, it comes in the form of I. Now, when you say I, it's a big divider. I immediately creates I and you. Nothing divides us more than the ego or I-ness. Now, I'm mentioning these distractions, these 4 major distractions that create very much of an obstacle on the way. These are built into the mind. All these operate in the mind. So that is why sometimes we call the mind a negative power. And mind tries to obstruct this because of these reasons that we have. So in order to be pulled by love, these have to go. And these do not exist beyond the mind. They exist only up to the causal level, the mind. That is why they have to be cleared up before we can ever have the experience of being pulled by a perfect living master's love, pure love, to go beyond the mind. This purification process takes place slowly. Some people say, if I'm a seeker, why can't I just go right now to my place? What about these 5? Sometimes they are referred to as 5 children of the mind. The mind is the parent and creates these children. So what about these 5 children? I did tell you the story of a man who claimed to be very enlightened, and I poked him with a needle. Then he ran. That's what I told him. What about your 5 children? Including anger and ego. When you say it takes time to go within, to our own true heart, to our own self, should be instant. It is an instant. When we go, it's an instant. Why we take time? To overcome the 5 children of the mind. And that is why we need patience on this game. Patience is needed because of these distractions, the negative obstacles that come. And when we have to go in the same life in which you are initiated by a master and not wait for another, slightly more obstacles seem to appear. If everything is predetermined, including pain and suffering and pleasure and happiness, does it make any difference if you are initiated and a meditator? Do you have the same experiences according to predestined destiny, or does it make a difference? The destiny operates on the basis of our attention being totally captured, where we are playing out our destiny. Right now we are playing out our destiny in a physical plane. If you are only in physical consciousness, using the physical aspect of mind, destiny plays full part, and these distractions are at height. But if you are at a different level and regularly visit the next higher level, which makes this a reflection of that, destiny here plays the same part what can be seen by people, but your attitude changes and you know the reality, so they don't affect you so much. If you are in the causal region, destiny still plays its part. Everybody says you are going through the same thing, except that the 5 children seem to be less dominant. But if you cross the mind and live in a state of love as a soul, and with awareness that that is what the truth is, the 5 children seem to disappear and they don't affect you at all. If you want to see a perfect living master, in addition to the fact he never claims to be a master, in addition to his humility in that way, in addition to the fact he never charges for anything and works for his own living, you will find that these 5 distractions are missing in him. That's a very big thing. We are all subject to it. And we can't know this just by a casual meeting with a man like that. You have to meet him regularly, know him, and spend time with him, and you find, why does he not get angry? Why is he not lustful? Why is he not greedy? Why is he not doing these things? Why is he trying to hide his eye at all? What's gone wrong? No, it's gone right. And all of us can have that with an experience of just having one visit beyond the mind. It's a very big thing. So that is why when the whole system here is divided into negative and positive, the negative energy that is created only in an area where time exists. If time is not there, none of these exist. They are all expressions of the mind, which only operates in time and space. So that is why it's very important to know that it is only when you are beyond the mind that your true spiritual self is revealed to you. If you meditate to go to heaven, it can be done with the mind. Mind is happy to do that. If you want to do exercises of yoga Very easy. You want to put your attention on your heart, you can do it without problem. Try to put your attention on the third eye center, very difficult. The mind likes this, hates this. The mind, because of its very nature, the way it's built. That is why these are some of the questions people don't ask. And they just sit and wait, things will happen. And things don't happen. And that is why great master was so good to me. He said, talk to me. Every time you find an obstacle, I'll tell you what to do about it. He said, this is only necessary till you can talk to me internally. And that's the best part. The best part of this man's teaching is he does not say you have to come to me personally. You can develop excellent faculty of telepathy and telepathically communicate with me by manifesting my form which exists inside you in full at the time of initiation. You don't have to send a message to me outside, inside. This telepathic communication with a master becomes very easy if you're able to see him inside. Seeing him inside is only one step. You don't have to go to the top of the mind for that. Just the very first step, when you go into the astral self, unaware of the body, you see him. Very big benefit. You can talk to him, and he gives you means to check if we are talking to the master with seeing him inside, or it's an image made up by the mind. We're talking to our own mind. He gives us a device by which we check, and we can be certain it's the mind, it's the master, not the mind. That's part of the process of initiation, explanation of how to work it out. Wonderful. When that happens, all the guidance can be obtained from him inside. And he is with you always. One of the things that affect most of us, almost all of us, is a feeling of loneliness. We feel alone. Even in a crowd, we feel alone. Even with a partner, we feel alone. We feel nobody fully understands us because our relationships are with the body, a skin-deep relationship. If somebody can understand our mind, that's a big exception to the rule. Nobody understands our soul and its seeking. And that is why this loneliness has affected us. And we can't even talk about it. Who should we talk about? With whom shall we talk? They think we are happy. And we are always pretending to be happy. Just because culturally we are told to be happy when we are unhappy inside. Loneliness is a very big, it's like a curse upon us, upon human beings. But if you have the manifestation of the master inside you, at least loneliness disappears forever. This is wonderful. You always have a friend with you, 24/7. There's nothing like that. It's not somebody you made up. It's somebody who you saw outside first, inside next, made sure what the conversation inside is with the same one you saw outside. Beautiful arrangement. That is why loneliness disappears. If you cross the mind also, something else disappears. It's called doubt. Because doubt is created by the mind. After that, you never have doubt. When you know, you don't have doubt. Doubt comes when you don't know. And also fear. Generally, fear is created after doubt. Doubt leads to fear. And fear disappears completely. Can you imagine living a life here with all our destiny intact and having no fear and no doubt? That is why you become totally certain about what you know, certain about what's happening, actually having seen it, not by speculation, and totally fearless. That's what happens. Now, these two things change our life right here. Let's forget about what happens through home or anywhere. If something can be done as simply as following instructions in meditation and being pulled by the love of a person because we are ready inside, and doubt and fear disappear, the whole life changes. Most of the time, we are worried with doubts and fears. It's a function of the mind. I'm not saying doubt is bad. In fact, I'll say doubt is good. If there was no doubt, no skepticism, anybody could say anything and we'd be so vulnerable to any advice. Doubt is good in order to investigate, in order to be certain. You have to have a certain level of experience and certainty before you will take the next step. That is why doubt serves a good purpose on the spiritual path. But if it goes beyond a point, it becomes an obstacle. If you're using doubt to screen, I want to clear my doubt. I don't want to take next step unless I have cleared up my doubt. Now, why is this? This man's teaching, great master's teaching, does not allow any blind faith at all. He says, do not believe anything unless you have experienced it. But that's a contradiction in terms. Because if we have seen it, the question of believing doesn't arise. We have known it. Belief by itself is blind to start with. We are believing in something we haven't seen, so to some extent it's blind. But what his advice is, that do you believe at a particular time in your life that you don't belong here? You have to believe that first. It's an experience. Not somebody saying, you don't belong here, let's take you. You say, I belong, I love this place. It doesn't work. This first experience of seeking and saying, I don't belong, I want to go, is a proof of itself that the next step can be taken. It's not blind. Then the next step is not blind, because you had an experience. Okay, I'll try it out. Go to a master, listen to him. He says some things. Should I believe it or not? I don't know. Hard to believe. But I had a question in my mind, and he was able to answer before I even spoke. How could he guess what was in my mind? Maybe there is something to take the next step. I drive my car and see a hoarding advertising some product, but a few words in that are exactly what I was thinking. How can such a coincidence happen? What does this coincidence mean? It means there is something going on. If the number of coincidences go on increasing outside, nothing inside, so there is something going on. These are all elements of belief based on experience, not the blind faith. When many of these happen, we know it is the master's doing. Okay, it never happened before. How come their number is increasing? How come this coincidence, which is supposed something happening against the law of probability? That's coincidence. What is probable and has to happen is not a coincidence. But if I am saying to Master, I haven't seen you for a long time, and I miss you, I don't know, email comes that morning. How could it come at that time when I was thinking like that? These are external coincidences. And then, if we're meditating, we get internal experiences. Both add up. We talk of intuition. Intuitive knowledge comes from the soul. Thought out knowledge comes from the mind. But is intuition only internal? Not at all. When you have an intuitive feeling or thought or knowledge, intuitive, gut feeling. And that's supported by something like a hoarding outside, opening a book and say the same word at the beginning. You didn't open the book to read that. How could those two match? You'll be surprised that when we are on this path, how often these two things match. An internal intuitive feeling and an external evidence of that being a part of the intuitive feeling. By coincidence. Coincidence is no accident. Somebody sent me last night a very interesting experience of a blind man who practiced Tai Chi. He was taught by a man. It's become a documentary. And that blind man, who's old now, has given a talk. There he says, the real secret of life I discovered was coincidence. Everything happened which was great in my life by coincidence. He says, I even begin to suspect, at the end he says, I even begin to suspect that coincidence is the creator of everything. That coincidence can be equated with the creator. A remarkable statement that I read last night. I know people realize coincidences are very important part of increasing our faith and belief. No blind faith. Believe what you experience. If it's good enough to take the next step, take one step. If experience justifies, take the next. Don't believe it, nor disbelieve. Our tendency is, I don't believe it, so it doesn't exist. Somebody says, I had a great experience. I don't believe it. If you could have it, I should have. I don't have it. I don't believe you had it. That's not an appropriate way to react. If you don't have an experience, it does not mean nobody has it. Somebody says, you will get this experience. I can't believe it because I haven't had it, but I don't disbelieve I may one day. Remember, this is very important, that believe what you experience, but don't disbelieve just because you haven't experienced. Be open. Many of us are so closed. And what causes us to be so closed and not even open to possibility of things happening, possibility of other people having experiences, is mostly, I've studied it, at good university. I studied the subject at good university. What causes it? Mostly religion causes it. Religious foundations are given to us when we're children growing up in our family where particular religion is being practiced. Religion binds us almost into a belief system based blindly on statements that have been made in the scriptures, blindly in what a priest is telling us. Religion does not say, don't have blind faith. Religion says, believe it. Why? Because we say it. Why? Book says it. So what happened? Our minds get so closed. We are afraid. It's a cause of fear. If we get out of that frame, maybe we are hurting ourselves, hurting God. So many people think like this. Religion has gripped us. And yet religion was based upon spirituality. Religion talks of God. Religion talks of the truth. And yet we can divide ourselves so much. The more we divide, the narrower the compartment in which religion has placed us. There is one God. Christians say, one God, and there was a Son, Jesus Christ. You believe in him. If you believe, you will be saved. If you don't, the rest of the world will go to hell. They believe it, genuinely. I have talked to so many. The Muslims say, Allah. in the name of Allah, all others are condemned. Hindus say these people have strayed away from true path. Every religion is confining us to itself, not only to itself. Let's believe one God, one Jesus Christ. Then why 16 denominations? Why Protestants, Lutherans, Catholics? All different. Are they different gods? My friends won't go to a church that is not part of the denomination, believing in the same God. My Muslim friends will not go to another Muslim house, both believing in the same Allah, the same Muhammad. No, Shia is Sunni. What happened to us? We have subdivided. Now, what is the result of it all? We've grown up in this small compartment of belief systems, totally blind. I talk to people who have faith in their belief system over and over again, all over the world. And they are so caught up, they are afraid something will happen. We will be captured by the devil if we leave slightly this way. So these are blind beliefs so instilled in us that we are not open. And the spiritual path really requires, all paths, in every religion, require you to be open. Christ never said that God is only made for Christians. There is only one God for everybody. We are all children of the same God. That's what he said. Why don't his followers follow that? Prophet Muhammad never said that there is two divisions. He doesn't even say that Rabb or God is only for Muslims. He didn't say Rabbe Muslimin. In the Quran he says Rabbe Alameen, of the whole world. God of the whole world. These founders of religion have said something else, and the followers are doing something else. Why don't they read what the original founders said? The founders have made it open. Investigate and find. And we are confined. And that is why it becomes a very big hurdle in many of us to get out of the trap of a confined way of thinking. And I can't blame anybody. This has been happening from our childhood upwards. We grow with it. Religion is our parents' religion, and we grow with it. It takes time to open up and say, I must tell you, seekers, you all understand English? No? Those who are initiated will use their mantra given by the masters. Those who are not initiated can use a temporary mantra created by themselves, expressing love for somebody. Close your eyes. Imagine this body of yours is your house in which you live. It has several floors. The lowest floor is right where you're sitting down at the bottom. Then as the floors rise, you are on the 6th floor behind the eyes. And that's the place where you will always meditate. That is your meditation chamber. So go and imagine you are sitting in the middle of this meditation chamber. And you can examine that the house, this body-like house around you on the 6th floor, that you are sitting on top of your throat. You're sitting on top of your body, and the ears are around you, and the eyes are in front of you. Your hair is on top of you, and you are sitting relaxed, totally relaxed, no tension. The body has nothing to do with it. There's no pressure on the body or the head or the eyes. You are using your imagination to sit behind the eyes in the center of the head. And whatever comes in front, look at it, but don't follow it. If any sounds come, listen to the sounds attentively. but don't move towards them. If a sound comes from the top, listen while you're sitting relaxed in the center. Sound comes from the right, listen from the center. Sound comes from the left, stay in the center and listen to it. If two sounds come, pick up the one coming from the right or above and drop the other. And if a sound seems to be around you, pick up that and listen to it attentively. Put all your attention on the sound when the sound comes. Meanwhile, keep on repeating the words. If the sound disappears, go back to repetition. And when the sound comes, drop the repetition, listen to the sound.